What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to ETHDenver. Oh, this is a big moment. I appreciate you all being here. So let's just get into it. Look, this is about community. This is about building. This is about Ethereum. My story in this industry begins in 2016 with the launch of CryptoKitties. I was working at Sony Music, and I saw Ethereum and this NFT ecosystem as being a way for artists to go direct to their fans, to go direct to consumers, and to kind of do away with some of the predatory middlemen that exist in the music industry. I started there. Obviously, labels were not as receptive as I would have liked to the idea of decentralization and doing away with predatory middlemen, because unfortunately, that is what labels are in some cases. In the best cases, they're great. But I went on to CAA, tried the same, tried to get the TV and film world on board. Kind of the same deal, went on to the government of California, and it was really just a lot of community building, but not a reception to the idea of decentralization, to the idea of Ethereum. But here we are, 2025, and obviously we're aware, now Sony has an L2 called Sonium, and the world is kind of receptive as it relates to this industry. The screen went black. We're going to get it back, but pretty much what I'm trying to relate to is that 2025 is a new year. The government's receptive, entertainment's receptive, and now we're building on Ethereum. So what is it that we're building? Movement is a modular framework. It's a MoveVM-based chain that is settling to Ethereum. We want to bring the wonder and the revolutionary technology that is the Move programming language to Ethereum and to the Ethereum community. We want to bring our community to the infinite garden that is Ethereum. So how are we doing that? We started off I joined the team in June of 2023. I was at Consensus a little bit before, and I was playing music. I was at like a VC meetup. I was a little bit bored. You know how it goes sometimes at these conferences, you just get kind of burnt out. So I was playing some music and just kind of vibing out. And a really young man named Cooper Scanlon approached me, and he told me about this idea he had for this company called Movement. And, similar to what I said in my origin story, I'd always been really focused on community building and focused on bringing this idea of decentralization to the people. And when he told me about this idea of Move and how they didn't have the users and they didn't have the liquidity, and he was really trying to just bring this incredible programming language to the people, I saw a vision that I could align with. We came out of stealth in September of 2023, and I put some of the landmarks that we have on here. I put my co-founders Rushi and Cooper on screen because I just want to show this is kind of the what this industry enables, which is, two young kids, two young college dropouts from Vanderbilt can come up with an idea and can sell it to the world and can create a community and inspire someone like me to, continue on this journey and to build. This is just an example of when we broke 100,000 followers in the Discord, just celebrating it together. That's an example of some of our community members outside of a fucking volcano. This originated with me and two 20-some-year-old kids with a dream and a purpose that was bigger than ourselves. This is some of the examples of the community growth that we saw. And I'll walk you guys a little bit through how this happened, but I wanted you to see kind of some of the growth that we achieved. We're the 10th biggest global community on Galaxy. We have about 870,000 followers on Discord, 807 community members in Discord, and 870,000 on Twitter. And again, this all started in September of 2023. I think one of the big successes that we had and the way that we approach this, and the reason that you see such, insane growth in terms of community, was that we really believed in what we were saying. And I think authenticity is one of the most important things as a community builder, as a marketer, or as a protocol, or as a chain that you can bring to your community. I think we're all tired of the grift. We're all tired of being sold vaporware. And the reality is that if you're going to go to someone and say, hey, we want to build something great with you, then you better come correct. And over the course of this time, our community started to see that we weren't just here to talk, we were here to work, we were here to build, and this is just a reflection of that. Now, how did that happen? Well, one of the things that I grew up on, and I share this with Vitalik, is that I was a huge WoW player. I mean, I was a sweat. I was playing it every day. I grew up in France. I dealt with a lot of xenophobia for being an American in France. And so I escaped into this virtual world. And what that did for me is it showed me like what a virtual economy looked like, what classes look like, what guilds look like, what organic community creation can look like in a virtual world. And so when I started at Movement, my second week, I said to Cooper, what if we took the idea of an MMO, and what if we gamified the entire user experience of the movement? And what if we brought this, escapism in this sense of like, fantasy world and play that we all experience as kids to get through, and enjoy life? What if we brought that to our community? And that's always kind of been at the center of what I've been trying to do. Is I've been seeking for a sense of belonging myself. And so I wanted the community to feel like they belonged in all the ways that they represent themselves. So if you're a teacher, if you're a content creator, if you're if you're a traveler, if you like to do events, you like to explore the world, if you're a builder, if you're if you're on-chain maxi, or if you're trying to bring people in and teach them the way, then there's a guild that represents you. I think one of the issues that we have in this industry is that there's a sense of exclusivity. There are walls to the great garden. As much as I'm on board with Ethereum's idea of the infinite garden, we've seen time and time again that there's this idea of, better than, or this otherism, and this exists outside of our industry as well. We see systems of oppression that function similarly. And so what I wanted to do with Movement was to show that we don't move that way, and we are for everybody. If you're Thank you, bro. If you're here to build, if you're here to participate, if you're here to be part of this industry, this Web3 movement, that you're reflected in the way that you want to be, and that there's a guild that you can join that is like-minded as you are. And there's cross-pollination. There are creators that are also scholars, and there are explorers that are also Spartans. But they congregate together and they build together, and now it's really, the movement has taken on a life of its own. The first phase of my marketing journey at Movement was to build the community. The second phase is that the community is building with us. I'm eternally grateful for the guild leaders and the members of these communities, because we wouldn't exist without them. So here's just an example of some of what's been achieved through this guild system. We've achieved 52 regional Twitter, they're Telegram groups, but they're also 52 regional movement groups in the real world. That's what I was trying to say. I think these numbers are a little bit off. I think now it's closer to 44 moderators. I also want to say to anyone who's marketing in crypto, if you don't include your mods in your marketing team, I would like for you to pivot that mentality. They're the front line for your community. They communicate with your community more than anyone does. And essentially, if you're building a community at scale like Movement is today with almost 1 million people, it's essentially like a country. These are your local representatives. These are the people that are, brought into the ecosystem and represent you on a day-to-day basis. So please make sure that you're including them. And so shout out to all the mods. And we also have mods training mods. And we have community mods. So I'm really proud of all of them. We've been on 5 different continents, from Indonesia to Turkey, Germany, Nigeria, Vietnam, China, Korea, Colombia, Slovakia, Russia, Ukraine, the US, Ghana, Indonesia, Japan, Australia, and we're just getting started. Ideally, we're going to be in every country, in every city, and on every continent. I look forward to seeing a Movement Antarctica base at some point as we pursue this new terrain of DeSci. And then here's some amazing pictures of our community. I mean, I can't even begin to express the amount of gratitude and joy it brings me to just look at this screen. But this is what community building can look like. Many of these people I've never met in person, but we share a common goal, which is bringing the Move programming language to the people, building community, having fun, playing, and working. At the end of the day, you have to make this worth people's time. We're all in it for the same reasons. I may have hit something. No, we're good. We're totally good. Here's some of the success stories that have been going on, and I took a quick list. One of the things that was very important for me, and I think is a really important part of the community building process, is to make sure that the people that are building the community with you are a function of your team. So your most avid and your most participant community members are essentially an extension of your marketing team or of your community team. So I wanted to do a quick shout out. These are some of the community members who have since found work after coming up in the Movement ecosystem. We have Aday, who's now at Lava. Dabam is now at Lanakia, as is Mr. Fox. Helios is now part of the Squirrels team. Foo and Used Towels are part of the Canopy team. Timsverse and Bookie Road are part of the Henry team. And Karem is part of the Razor DAO team. That is literally validation of my existence, to see community members who came into this, for the joy of it, for the sake of it, but for their own self-purpose and their own pursuit of passion. They joined this community, they worked their asses off, and they got jobs. And I think that's one of the most important parts of community building in Web3. At the end of the day, some of these people are grinding for you for free. And so the most important thing that you can do is to put them in positions to win. And the end result of the guild system was to allow for our community members to eat. And one of the things that we did within the guild system was to create this Parthenon, this building the Parthenon experience, which was the testnet example of how these guilds could function, making on-chain mechanisms so that when these community members are participating in the various guilds, which I'll go back to again, as these individual groups are participating, if they're teaching people in the Discord, or they're teaching people on Twitter, if they're creating memes, if they're doing regional explorer events across the world, if they're building dApps, if they're bringing people in and educating them, if they're on-chain maxing, we want to make sure that all those people are recognized and incentivized properly, because this shit does not come for free, and there's no free lunch in Web3. So we want to make sure that the people are being rewarded adequately. I'm very grateful to be on this stage, and I'm very grateful for the movement community. And obviously, all this comes down to, when is the network going live? When are the people going to be able to participate on mainnet? This is a question I've been getting often. And the question for you remains the same with me. The answer is soon come. Movement mainnet will be in March. I'm very excited for us to be able to participate in a mainnet experience. Obviously, the testnet was an incredible experience as well, but I just want to make sure everybody knows it's coming, y'all. And I can't believe how close we are. Parthenon V2 is going to be up, and we're grinding. I'm so proud of everything that the team has achieved, and I can't wait for you guys to be able to participate on it in a mainnet way. But I just want to go back a bit again and just talk a little bit more about the community building process, and really like how you can engage better with your community. If you're in Web3 and you're a builder, or you're a founder, and you're wondering how we achieved this level of success with building our community, I want to go back to some of the points that I made about the guilds. If you're focused on the builder community, what could you be doing for the creator economy? What could you be doing for the meme artists? What could you be doing for the threaders? What could you be doing for the folks that, they might be micro KOLs, they might have really good takes, but they don't have many followers. So how are you maximizing the potential of your community? And I think if you were to approach it with that lens, you're going to see results that you didn't see before. Some of these countries are countries I've never even been to in my life. But when community members approached me and said, hey, I live in Ukraine and I want to throw an event here, my immediate reaction was, let's fucking get it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to travel to these regions. I'm not going to be able to be all over the world. I have to trust my community. And also, this is a permissionless and decentralized environment. I think the misalignment a lot of times is that people are expecting their community to work for them. And in reality, we work for the community. We can only go so far as the dApps that build on our networks, and we can only go as far as the people who throw events and who represent us around the world. So what are you doing for the community? How are you building for them? What can you do differently, and how can you show them how much you value them and how much you respect their time? And create a mechanism in which, when they show this hard work, that they're rewarded for it. I'm gonna go back again to the MMO example. How are you treating the teachers? How are you treating the creators? How are you treating the on-chain maxis? And if you're doing for them what you would want done for yourself, then the world is gonna open up to you. I wanna take the last few minutes of my time today to talk a little bit about this. I think we've lived in an environment long enough within this industry of, this is our chain and that's their chain, and if they're not on my chain, then I don't fuck with them. That kind of divisive rhetoric is also the same divisive rhetoric that separates our countries, that separates our people, and that's played out as fuck. We need to come together. If you're building on Ethereum, if you're building on Solana, if you're building on Bitcoin, if you're building on Sui, if you're building on Aptos, if you're building on Movement, I fuck with you. You're in Web3, I fuck with you. We are not at each other's throats. We have problems of centralization. We have problems of institutions and systems of power that are far greater and far worse than any Web3 builder. So let's build together. Let's build a better world, and let's live the ethos that we stand in. This is decentralization, and this is what it's all about. And build for the people, and the people will build with you. I'm so grateful for your time. I wish you all the most wonderful, eccentric, and loving lives imaginable. My sisters in the crowd, shout out to mom and dad. I love you guys. Thank you for raising me. And a huge shout out to the Ethereum community. Thank you to Vitalik and everybody who built this, to the folks that are manning the stage and the sound and the AV teams, the people who set up the whole conference. I stand on the shoulders of these giants. So thank you so much for coming and listening. And I got 5 minutes left, but I'm going to leave it. So you guys are the shit. I love you. Thank you. Believe in yourself. Love yourself. You got one life, so live it right. Let's fucking go.